Welcome to the Deep Dive. So today we're digging into a daily devotion called Keep Working Faithfully.
And the core text for this is from Genesis 30, verses 25 to 43.
That's the one. And we're really zeroing in on verse 43. The bit about Jacob becoming exceedingly prosperous.
Yeah, it's quite a striking verse. Owning flocks, servants, camels, donkeys, the works.
Right. And our goal here is, well, to see what the story tells us about faith, sticking with things, and maybe feeling unappreciated sometimes.
Absolutely. It taps into that feeling we all get, putting in the effort, but maybe not seeing the reward or getting the nod you think you deserve.
Okay, let's jump into the first lesson the devotion pulls out. Keep working and trusting.
Yeah, this focuses on Jacob's situation. He's working for Laban, his uncle, who's also his boss, and frankly, Laban keeps moving the goalposts on him, takes advantage.
But Jacob's response is key here, isn't it? He doesn't really scheme or try to get his own back.
No, he just keeps working, keeps doing his job faithfully. The idea is he's trusting God will sort things out.
Which is tough when you feel like you're being treated unfairly.
It really is. The devotion highlights maintaining your integrity, even when things feel stacked against you.
It suggests that consistent effort, well, it gets noticed. Maybe not by people, but
By a higher power, yeah. God sees it. And that raises a big question for us, doesn't it?
like, how do you stay focused? How do you avoid getting bitter when you feel overlooked or cheated?
Exactly. And the devotion offers some practical thoughts there. It says focus on being faithful in what you're doing now.
Even the small stuff.
Right, even the seemingly small stuff. And try to cultivate this inner peace, this hope, instead of resentment.
Suggesting that maybe divine favor is worth more in the long run than, say, getting a pat on the back from your boss.
That's the implication. Human approval is fleeting. But building on integrity and trust, that's foundational. That's where the real lasting value might be.
Okay, that makes sense. Let's move to the second lesson. Do what you can.
So Laban keeps, shortchanging Jacob on his wages. It's pretty blatant.
But Jacob doesn't just throw his hands up. He persists. And he uses this kind of odd method with striped sticks near the watering troughs.
Yeah, it sounds a bit strange today, but the devotion makes a crucial point about this.
It wasn't magic.
Not really, no. The point isn't that the sticks made the flock stronger or speckled or whatever. It's that Jacob was doing something. He was working faithfully with the limited resources and, frankly, weird options available to him.
And that effort was what got multiplied or blessed.
Precisely. God worked through Jacob's consistent, faithful actions using what he had. It wasn't about Jacob having some genius plan.
I think that's really relevant for you listening. You might feel like you don't have huge resources or amazing talents.
But this suggests growth and blessing aren't always tied to those big things. God can work through simple, everyday, consistent actions done with faith.
So it's about showing up, doing your work honestly, using what you do have.
And trusting, even when things look limited. Focus on faithfulness right where you are. Trusting that ordinary effort, combined with, divine favor, can lead to extraordinary results.
Right. So wrapping this up, this deep dive into Genesis via the devotion really underscores the power of just keeping at it. Faithful work coupled with trust.
Especially when things are unfair or you feel like you don't have much to work with.
The big takeaway seems to be that God sees that consistent, often unseen effort and can bring blessings out of it in ways you might not expect.
Yeah. Which leaves you with something to think about maybe. Where in your life are you plugging away, working faithfully, but not seeing much outward reward yet? How might shifting your mindset, really leaning into trust, and just continuing that faithful action, how might that change not just the eventual outcome, but your experience right now? It's about perspective, isn't it? Taking that longer view.